قصة سيدنا موسى, the story of Master Moses, وسيدنا هارون, and Master Aaron, مع الطاغية فرعون, with the tyrant Pharaoh. ثم انتصار سيدنا يوشع عليه السلام, and then the victory of Master Joshua, may peace be upon him. Musa عليه السلام نشأ في مصر. Moses, may peace be upon him, was raised in Egypt. ثم كان هناك بنو إسرائيل قومه. And furthermore, there his people were the children of Israel. كانوا مسلمين. They were Muslims. لكن حكم الطاغوت حكم الطاغية فرعون كان مسيطرا عليهم. However, the rule of the tyrant Pharaoh was dominant over them. وكان يستذلهم ويؤذيهم, and he used to debase them and persecute them. وموسى كان من جملة بني إسرائيل, and Moses, he was one of the children of Israel. الذين يسكنون مصر, those who lived in Egypt. هؤلاء كانوا من ذرية يعقوب, those were from the progeny of Jacob. He is Israel. من ذرية يوسف الصديق عليه السلام وعلى جميع الأنبياء, and they were from the progeny of Joseph, the one who was so truthful. May peace be upon him. وعلى جميع الأنبياء, and may peace be upon all of the prophets. إخوة يوسف جاءتهم ذرية كثيرة. The sons of Joseph, the brothers of Joseph, they had many children. وبين يوسف وموسى 400 عام, and between Joseph and Moses there were 400 years. موسى عليه السلام نزل عليه الوحي, and how many years between Yusuf and Abraham? More than 300. And Al-Khadir is several generations before Abraham. موسى عليه السلام نزل عليه الوحي. Moses, may peace be upon him, revelation came to him. بأن يذهب إلى فرعون, to go to the Pharaoh. ويدعوه إلى الإسلام, and to call him to Islam. إلى الإيمان بالله, to belief in God. وبموسى وهارون أخيه, and to believe in Moses and Aaron, his brother. So when did he get the command to go to Pharaoh? When he left Midian to go to Egypt. According to a saying, he was a prophet already when he was in Egypt before. Then he left Egypt and went to Midian. Then he stayed there for years. And then he left Midian to go to Egypt to visit his family. So on his way to Egypt, he received the revelation, and he received orders to go to the Pharaoh. Allah Ta'ala anzala ala Musa wa Harun al-Wahy. God, exalted is He, revealed to Moses and Aaron revelation. جعلهما نبيين رسولين. He made both of them prophets and messengers. وهما أخوان, and they were brothers. You notice the style here, very easy style. So as if this is the words of the Sheikh here. ذهبا, so they went, the two of them. فكلماه, and they both spoke to him. فطغى, وتجبر, but he was insolent and arrogant. لكن الله تعالى نصر موسى ومن آمن به. However, God, exalted is He, supported Moses and who believed in him. فخرجوا بعد أن أظهر موسى المعجزات. And so they made an exodus. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
sorry to interrupt, but did you say he supported Moses and believed in him?
And who believed in him? Supported Moses and
Okay,
who
okay.
believed in him.
I missed the who. That's why I wanted to see. Barakallahu feek.
آمين وفيكم. فخرجوا بعد أن أظهر موسى المعجزات. And so they made an exodus after Moses displayed miracles. Yani, Moses was there for a long time though. It wasn't like this took 1 week or 1 month or something. His going to the Pharaoh and doing the miracles that he did, no, he was there for some time. أظهر فيهم المعجزات. Moses displayed miracles in their midst. خرجوا من أرض مصر. They left the land of Egypt. That's what people call the Exodus. All of them together, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people all left. فجاوز موسى بهم البحر. And so Moses crossed the sea with them. البحر انفلق له 12 فرقا. The sea split into 12 segments, 12 pathways. كل فرق كالجبل العظيم. Each segment of water in between the pathways was like a great mountain. So what Sheikh did here, yani, I'm assuming it's the words of Sheikh, but the speaker, what he did here is, and other places in the book too, is actually put tafsir in the story. If you know the ayahs, like in Surah Ash-Shu'ara, كَالطَّوْدِ الْعَظِيمِ. The meaning of كَالطَّوْدِ الْعَظِيمِ is كَالْجَبَلِ الْعَظِيمِ. So just put the tafsir there. Each segment of water between the pathways was like a great mountain. جعل الله لهم الأرض التي بين هذه الأمواج التي قامت بقدرة الله كالجبال. Allah Ta'ala made, gave them a pathway to walk upon, the ground. He gave them ground to walk upon, which would have been the seabed. Basically, the water split, it parted. That's how they famously say it. The water parted, he parted the sea. So it gave way to the seabed. And that seabed, meaning the ground, it was dry. And they walked on it in between mountains of water. جعل الله لهم الأرض التي بين هذه الأمواج التي قامت بقدرة الله كالجبال. كل واحدة منفصلة عن الأخرى جعل الله لهم يبسا. Allah Ta'ala, He made the ground, which was the seabed. This ground which was between waves that were standing by God's power like mountains. Each one separated from the other, because each mountain of waves or mountain of water had a pathway. Every 2 mountains had a pathway. Allah made that pathway for them dry. فَجَاوَزَ بِهِمْ مُوسَى. And so Moses crossed with them. فَنَجَوْا مِنْ فِرْعَوْنَ. And so they escaped Pharaoh. وَهُمْ كَانُوا 600,000. They were 600,000. وفرعون أراد أن يلحقهم بجيشه الجرار. Pharaoh wanted to catch them with his tyrant army. كان جيشه مليونا وستمائة ألف. His army was 1,600,000. 1 million is alfu alf. This word million, well, it says malyun here with fatha on the meme. So what I learned that this is imported into Arabic language, not originally Arabic word, million or malyun, million. And that originally you say in Arabic alfu alf, thousand thousands. I'm not so good in math. I didn't even know a million was 1,000 thousands until I learned Arabic. لِيَبِيدُوهُمْ عَلَى زَعْمِهِمْ, so that they would exterminate them, wipe them out, commit genocide in their claim. فَجَاءَ فِرْعَوْنُ لِيُدْرِكَهُمْ, and so Pharaoh came to catch them. فَوَجَدَ الْبَحْرَ عَلَى هَذِهِ الْحَالِ, and he found the sea like that. التي صار إليها معجزة لموسى, in such a way that it was a miracle for Moses. ثم هلك, and then the Pharaoh perished. أمر الله البحر بأن يلتطم عليهم. أمر الله البحر بأن يلتطم عليهم. Allah commanded the sea to close on them. فهلكوا فرعون وجماعته, and so they all perished, Pharaoh and his group, his army. Meaning, they went in there. They went into the pathways between the mountains of water. Then Allah Ta'ala released those mountains so that they caved in on them. ثم بعد ذلك توجه بهؤلاء الذين معه نحو بر الشام. Then after that, Moses went with those with him to the land of the Levant. He was taking them to the promised land. That's what the Jews and Christians call it. That's correct. Al-Ard al-Maw'uda, the promised land, which was also the holy land. Al-Ard al-Muqaddasa. A lot of those words that Christians use when I was young, I didn't know what they meant. But amongst them are those, they know what these things mean. They study, they have like what they call Sunday school and things like that. And they have religious schools. But they were just words to me. I didn't know what promised land meant or anything. دَخَلَ بِهِمْ أَرَاضِيَ الْأُرْدُنِ, he took them into the lands of Jordan, yani what is present day Jordan. ثم أمر هؤلاء الذين معه بأن يتوجهوا إلى بيت المقدس. Then he commanded those who were with him to go towards Jerusalem. ليقاتلوا الجبارين الكفار, so that they would fight the colossal tyrants. These ones were giants. الذين كانوا مسيطرين على بيت المقدس, those who were in control of Jerusalem at the time. Yani what is now Jerusalem. فَلَمْ يُطِيعُوهُ, but they did not obey him. مَعَ أَنَّهُمْ رَأَوْا هَذِهِ الْمُعْجِزَةَ الْكَبِيرَةَ, although they saw this great miracle. عَصَوْهُ, they disobeyed him because they were cowards. When they knew that those people in those lands were giants, they said, Musa, you and your Lord go fight. إِنَّا هَاهُنَا قَاعِدُونَ, we will be sitting right here. Some scholars said, this is blasphemy, this statement, you and your Lord go fight. And some of them said, it's not explicit. So it doesn't have to be for sure judged as blasphemy. ما أطاعوه بالمرة. They didn't obey him at all. Only two men stood up for Musa. And of course Aaron was with him. ثم توفاه الله. Then Allah made him die. وتوفي هارون قبله. And Aaron died before him. Some of them accused Moses of murdering his own brother. Yani, those Israelites, they were insolent, yani. They were not like the companions of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's a great contrast between these two nations. Both of them are big nations. Both of them, they occupied countries, vast lands. Both of them, they carried out jihad campaigns. But one of them was insolent one, not easily obeying their prophets. They gave Musa a hard time. And the other was an obedient group. Whatever Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would command them to do, they would do it. ما أطاعوه بالمرة. They didn't obey Moses at all in this. But Caleb, he did. Caleb. In English, this name is Caleb. I think they say Caleb. And another man, I forgot his name. That was Yusha. Sorry. Caleb and Yusha. Subhanallah. Yusha and Caleb, those two, they encouraged the people. They said, come and fight. Let's go. Let's raid them. You will be victorious. ثُمَّ تَوَفَّاهُ اللَّهُ. Then Allah made him die. But there's a great summary here, because what happened? So, they crossed the sea. Allah made the Pharaoh die. And they were still afraid first. They said, maybe he didn't drown. They were still scared the Pharaoh was going to come and get him. So Musa prayed to his Lord, and Allah made the sea spit out Pharaoh's corpse. So then they knew he was dead. They recognized his armor. And it was said they went back into Egypt and took their money and then came back out. And then they went. They passed by some people who had idols, like cows. They had cow-shaped idols. So some of them said to Moses, make for us a god like they have gods. So Moses scolded them, and he taught them. So that proves that just because someone is with a prophet doesn't mean he has knowledge or that he's God-fearing. How do we know that? Well, what kind of ignorance is that? You don't know Tawheed. You're in the presence of a prophet and you don't know Tawheed. So if some people would be in the presence of a prophet and they don't know Tawheed, then what do you think about some people who would be in the presence of a sheikh? Think they're going to necessarily be powerful, knowledgeable people? And some things happened to them while they were out. So they reached a point where they were supposed to go into Jerusalem. But Jerusalem was occupied by colossal tyrants. Well, Jerusalem was occupied. So Musa alayhi salam, he sent spies, or scouts if you want. 12 of them. One for each of the tribes of the Israelites. So they went into the land and they discovered that it was inhabited by colossal tyrants, giants. As is mentioned in the tafsir, in some tafsirs, is mentioned that some scholars said the remnants of Ad. These giants were the remnants of the people of Ad. Well, we know that people in the past were taller anyway. And these ones were not as tall as the people of Ad, though. But they were taller than the Israelites. And also their bodies, it appears that their bodies are very powerful, formidable. So when the Israelites knew about that, and Musa alayhi salam, he had told his scouts, do not tell anyone what you see, just report to me. But did they do it? No, they didn't. And when they saw what they saw, and then they were shook to the core, and they came back as cowards, except for Joshua and Caleb. They told everyone. They didn't just report to Musa. They told everyone. This place is occupied by giants. So that's when all the children of Israel boycotted the obedience to Musa alayhi salam. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا قوم ادخلوا الأرض المقدسة التي كتب الله لكم. O my people, Moses said, enter the holy land that God has written for you. وَلَا تَرْتَدُّوا عَلَىٰ أَدْبَارِكُمْ فَتَنْقَلِبُوا خَاسِرِينَ. And do not turn on your heels and then become losers. قالوا يا موسى إن فيها قوما جبارين. They said, oh Moses, indeed, in that land there are some colossal tyrants. وَإِنَّا لَن نَّدْخُلَهَا حَتَّى يَخْرُجُوا مِنْهَا. And we shall not enter that land until they come out of it. فَإِن يَخْرُجُوا مِنْهَا فَإِنَّا دَاخِلُونَ. And if they come out of it, then we will go in. قال رجلان من الذين يخافون أنعم الله عليهما. And two men said, those were Joshua and Caleb. They said to the Israelites, two men who fear God and God endowed upon them. They said to the Israelites, "Udkhulu alayhimul bab." Raid them. Enter the gates of the city. فَإِذَا دَخَلْتُمُوهُ فَإِنَّكُمْ غَالِبُونَ. If you enter, you will be victorious. So they were telling the Israelites what Moses had told them. The case was that had they gone to fight, they would have won. But they were too afraid, so they didn't. فَإِذَا دَخَلْتُمُوهُ فَإِنَّكُمْ غَالِبُونَ وَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَتَوَكَّلُوا إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. And on God rely if you are believers. قالوا يا موسى إنا لن ندخلها أبدا ما داموا فيها. They said, oh Moses, indeed we shall never enter there as long as they are there. فاذهب أنت وربك فقاتلا. So go, you and your Lord, and you two fight. إنا هاهنا قاعدون. Indeed, we are right here sitting, etc. till the end of that. So they would not obey Moses. Although they saw that great miracle that he performed, they disobeyed him. They did not obey him at all. Yani, they boycotted his obedience in this case. ثُمَّ تَوَفَّاهُ اللَّهُ. So then, when they didn't go into the land, into the Holy Land as they were promised, because they were too afraid to fight, then they didn't have anywhere to go. So that's when they got lost. So they were wandering for 40 years. I don't know what they might call that in English. So it's called in Arabic At-Tareeq. The T is the wandering, being lost. If you know what they call it in English, let me know. Inshallah. I'm not going to look right now. Ramble? That's the meaning of T, ramble. That means being lost. To aimlessly wander. Ah, that's what ramble means. To aimlessly wander. Okay. Barakallahu feek. But is that what they call this though? Because the Jews and Christians know about this. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Whatever is the quote unquote biblical name for this. This is like, for example, Safina means ship, but they call it the ark. So if we wanted to use their terms, we'd say the ark. So they didn't have anywhere to go. So they got lost for 40 years until the last of the people who refused to help Moses fight died. And it was during this time that they were lost that Allah Ta'ala made the manna rain upon them. Manna, like some bread from the sky. And Allah would make quails come to them, some birds, so that they could have bread and meat. And it was then, after they were like that for some time, that's when they went to Musa and said, لَن نَصْبِرَ عَلَى طَعَامٍ وَاحِدٍ. We won't be patient with the same food. SubhanAllah. Not like the nation of Muhammad at all. Yeah, in this regard of the obedience and the patience, and the perseverance, and in other ways. And so the Shaykh says here, ثُمَّ تَوَفَّاهُ اللَّهُ. Then Allah made him die. So he died while they were still wandering. عليه الصلاة والسلام. وَتُوُفِيَ هَارُونُ قَبْلَهُ. And Aaron died before him. And some of those wretched ones accused Moses of murdering his own brother. They said, you killed him because we liked him more than we liked you. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. Moses and Aaron, they were with them while they were wandering, but not as a punishment for Moses and Aaron. Rather, Moses and Aaron were on duty. So they were with them wandering because they were on duty as prophets. And for your information, the Torah was revealed to both of them, Moses and Aaron. ثم أيضا في هذه الحادثة أي حادثة وفاة أخيه هارون. Then in this incident, the incident of the death of his brother Aaron, أخوه هارون كان صعد هو وإياه إلى جبل. Moses and his brother Aaron had went into a mountain. فَقَبَضَهُ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى فِي ذَلِكَ الْجَبَلِ. And Allah made Aaron die while they were in that mountain. In the mountain doesn't mean they're necessarily inside the mountain. So sometimes you have a mountain, and then you basically go into the vicinity of this mountain. There's still going to be trees around and bushes. Maybe there's caves in there, and so you're in the mountain, like around the mountain. And maybe your elevation is increasing because you're climbing up this mountain. There's still though trees and land and grass and things around. Maybe streams, for example. Just so you don't think that when it says here they were in the mountain means they were inside a cave in the mountain. Not necessarily. ثم نزل موسى. Then Moses came back. قالوا له أنت قتلت أخاك. They said to him, you killed your brother. لأنه كان أرأف بنا منك. Because he was more compassionate to us than you. He had more ra'fa for us than you. We learned that it's not permissible to say Musa was strict. So maybe some of our brothers and sisters might say it. I didn't used to know you can't say it. Can't say it. That's what we learned. But Musa did not tolerate, does not tolerate haram. He does not tolerate kufr. Of course, no prophet does. But Musa, he will get upset, from the kufr. Alayhi salatu wassalam. They said, "Huwa kana arhama bina mink." He was more merciful to us than you. فقتلته. So you killed him. افتروا عليه. They lied on Moses. Yani some of them. ما كلهم افتروا عليه. So this should not be Hamzatul Qata here. It should just be Hamzatul Wasl. Like right here. ما كلهم افتروا عليه. Not all of them lied on him. لكن بعضهم. Rather some of them. فأظهر الله تعالى هارون. So then Allah made Aaron appear وهو ميت, while he was dead. حملته الملائكة. The angels were carrying him. ومروا به أمام هؤلاء الذين افتروا على موسى. And they passed by those who were lying on Moses with him. بأنه هو قتله. Those who lied, saying that Moses killed Aaron. فلما رأوا ذلك سكتوا. So when they saw that, they were silent. ثم ردته الملائكة إلى حيث أمروا. And then the angels took him wherever they were commanded. أبوا هؤلاء أن يقاتلوا معه. Those people refused to fight with Moses. فتوفى الله تعالى موسى قبل بيت المقدس. And Allah made Moses die before they entered Jerusalem. قبل الأرض المقدسة بمسافة قصيرة. He made Moses die not far from the Holy Land, as per the supplication of Moses. The Prophet taught us the supplication of Moses. رَبِّ أَدْنِنِي مِنَ الْأَرْضِ الْمُقَدَّسَةِ رَمْيَةً بِحَجَرٍ. My Lord, make me die as close to the Holy Land as the throw of a stone. Then, before he died, Allah made wherever he was close to the Holy Land. He made the distance between Moses and the Holy Land short, and then made Moses die there. So it is said that, according to the Muslims who believe that his grave has been located as per a description in a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that grave that the Muslims have designated as the grave of Moses is in the land that people call Jericho. فهذا دليل على أن موسى أمر قومه بالجهاد. This is evidence that Moses commanded his people to perform jihad. Now, I don't know if the Jews and Christians, they do say that the Israelites refused to go fight the giants. I don't know what they're going to do with the story if they leave that part out. Because I know the Jews brag and they say, one of them would say, my ancestors were giant slayers. Not at first, though. Don't skip the part where they were cowards and they refused to fight, and that's why they got lost for 40 years. So Moses, he did command for jihad, but they didn't help him, so he didn't perform it with them. فَلَوْ أَطَاعُوهُ كَانُوا قَاتَلُوا أُولَٰئِكَ الْجَبَابِرَةِ. Had they obeyed him, they would have fought those colossal tyrants, and they would have won. لكن النبي الذي جاء بعده. However, the prophet who came after him, وهو يوشع عليه السلام, that was Joshua. هذا كان خادمه, the one who was his servant. فتاه الذي سافر معه للقاء الخضر, his lad who traveled with him, who journeyed with him to meet Al-Khadir. هذا بعدما توفي موسى أنزل الله عليه الوحي. This one, after Moses passed away, Allah gave revelation to him. فَجَعَلَهُ نَبِيًّا. And so he made him a prophet. هذا توجه ومن معه من المؤمنين إلى بيت المقدس. This one, he headed with who was with him amongst the believers to Jerusalem. فَقَاتَلَ أُولَٰئِكَ الْكُفَّارِ. And then he fought those blasphemers. فانتصر عليهم, and he was victorious over them. ففتح بيت المقدس, and so he conquered Jerusalem. وطهر بيت المقدس من أولئك الجبابرة الكفار, and he purified the Holy Land from those tyrannical blasphemers. Yeah, so that's another prophet who waged jihad. And so, if I'm not mistaken, the Jews and the Christians, they confirm this. So the hateful Christians, those Christians who, if you call them, they'll say, we love everyone. We don't hate anybody. Those ones, they will slander Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and call him all sorts of things. And amongst what they would call him is a warmonger for carrying out jihad. So you would say to them, how about when Moses wanted to invade the colossal tyrants? And how about Joshua, who actually did invade them? And what did he do to them? I would ask one of them, do you know actually what did Joshua do to those giants, those people, those humans? Do you know what Joshua did to those human beings? He wiped them out. He exterminated them. And David, who carried out jihad campaigns, and Solomon, and even before David, and King Saul, that's Talut, King Saul, also carried out jihad campaigns. Wallahu a'lam.